Hey y'all, how are you? I hope that this finds you well. We are back from vacation. My son is here. It's his birthday. He turned 31 today. I just can't believe it's been that long. He's my oldest. David is sleeping. My son is sleeping. My son worked last night. He works the third shift at a hotel as a clerk, and he works at GameStop. While I was on vacation and I had a chance to rest and relax and do some sketching and some journaling and stuff because I couldn't really film, I tried. I did take some pictures. I did do a post and a short video. I took some notes while I was there. I'm going to show you the journal, but that's going to be at the end. Or it may be in another video, depending on how long this video is, because I think this is important and I wanted to address all of you. I'm going to start in a minute, but part of this video, a good portion of it's going to be a YouTube video. A good while back, I was watching a video on YouTube. I don't even remember whose video it was. And they mentioned Hannah Henchman and this book called A Life in Hand, Creating the Illuminated Journal. And this is the quote. I'm going to put it in my book. I've already put it in one journal. I'm going to put it in my journal again for One Book July. And I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing for One Book July at the end of this. But for now, we're going to talk about a few things. So this quote says, when you open the journal, bring whatever self you are at the moment to the page as purely as possible. Listen, wait, keep reaching for clarity. Excise the meaningless and habitual, keep watching. I'm going to turn to this page and I'm going to read an excerpt from this. This part of the book is called Life in Hand. She says, most of us normal people who aren't astronauts or living in a country undergoing revolution probably see our lives as unworthy of careful observation. Quite the opposite is true. Each of us is supplied with the same basic equipment as the first human and lives under the conditions that make being human so remarkable. We have an arsenal of senses in a world of countless things to sense. We have minds that can hold images and form ideas of past, present, and future all at once. We have won a moment in the unfolding universe. Doesn't that warrant comment? Journal keeping is as old as our ability to think of ourselves as unique individuals. The book has always been at hand to record journeys, epic events. The traveler and the witness know that their moment in history is singular and feel the need to preserve an account of it. The long poem, songs, memorized and retold through history are the fruits of that impulse. The great naturalist, aware of their privileged positions, turned keen eyes on a new continent, wanting to capture that never-to-be-repeated moment. The kind of journal I want to talk about in this book is an inclusive kind, one that maps actual or inner places that can be used for things as diverse as recipes or soul-searching inner dialogues. It can be a place to deposit anger or a place to sketch floor plan after floor plan for your dream house. The juxtaposition of such apparently unrelated parts of your life may seem strange at first. Your sense of order may object to it. Try to resist that voice. It's just those juxtapositions, in fact, that generate some of the best journal results. The little sketch you did one morning of the way people ran for shelter from a brief downpour might end up seeming oddly or mysteriously related to your entry on the other side of the page about the work and home pressures you were feeling at the time. The journal has a way of making unexpected connections like that. Some of them are just funny. Some are illuminating. They remind you that your life is not just an aimless, drifting string of days, but something purposeful, with distinctive traits and cycles, many of which you may know little about. Journal keeping can sometimes bring them to light, revealing the outline of your own life. And then she asked the question, what prompts the urge to keep a journal? And I'm not going to go further because I think that's a personal thing for all of us, why we keep journals. So I did this. This is actually in the all-in-one Omni journal, bullet journal that I kind of put aside and just started kind of journaling in. And went back to the A5 temporarily, and I haven't done that video yet, but I will show that video on YouTube because it is pretty. But I've gotten a little bit past that. I'm going to finish some things out for this month, but let's talk about what you see. I've been on the fence for a while about a few different things. Planners, journals, the size of a journal, the type of journaling. And as I was looking at my journals, the planner, the bullet journal, the journal, the sketchbooks, and thinking about One Book July, I sort of saw a pattern. My expectations, my judgment, criticism, perfectionism, self-doubt, my regrets, my guilt, all the advice that's out there, which varies depending on who you listen to. And last but certainly not least, my fear. My fear of not measuring up, not being perfect, whatever the hell perfect is. How far down the rabbit hole I've really fallen from when I first started adding art to my journal pages. I had so much fun back then. It was about having fun. I'd already journaled for a long time. I mean, I've been journaling since I was a kid with that little pink diary. And I'd already, for a long time, since probably middle school, been adding pictures and everyday ephemera, like concert ticket stubs and things that came on presents, tags, and little bits of wrapping paper and stuff like that. Smash booking before there was ever such a thing as smash booking. So art was the next step. And let's not forget about some of those other things that come with once you start down the rabbit hole of art journaling, our creative journaling, our creative planning, like washi tape, stamps, stickers, tip-ins, collage bits, embossing, foil, stencils, die cuts, vellum, acetate, and the list goes on, to like the types of watercolor you use, or the gouache, or the acrylic, or the water brushes, or the watercolor brush, or the markers, the pens. Oh, we're not even going to go down the pen rabbit hole right now. But I realized on my quest to be a better person, not necessarily to live a longer life, though I would like to live a long, happy life, but a better life, a healthier life, a happier life. It's time for me to really go back to the basics with a few things. For One Book July, this coming July, I'm going to be using one notebook for almost everything. You can call it an omni journal. You can call it an illuminated journal. You can call it an all-in-one journal. You can call it a creative planner journal. I still am going to be using my sketchbooks, and I still will be using our personal home finance kind of thing, the Hobonichi, which is where I do all of our home stuff and I do a lot of my work stuff in. But I'm going to be changing some things up. My personal stuff that I don't put on social media will be in the journal that is with the AVEC. But I think it's time for a new age for me. Maybe it's because I have a birthday coming. Maybe it's because my son turned 31 today. Maybe it's because this whole past week, after my mom's visit last weekend, and thinking about family and life and my dad, and we're in the middle of trying to fix my dad's truck and stuff, that some things have really changed for me over the past year and a half. And I think that's part of why I've been on the fence, why I've flip-flopped back and forth so much between journals and journal sizes and types of journals, and I was a bit lost. And I don't want to say now I'm found, but I think I'm finding my way. And I've said that before because it hit me. I've had several realizations over the past few months. And I think a big part of that had to do with the fact that when my mom was in the hospital, my dad had just died, my mom was in ICU and dying, all I could concentrate was on my mom. And then after my mom got out of the hospital, I was still focused on my mom. I was focused on probate court, and I was focused on, all of this family stuff. Now my daughter's having a baby in August. I'm having a new grandchild. My son is 31, and my stepdaughter will be 20 in December, and I'm getting older. I will be 52 in July, and I'm at this new stage in my life where I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I talked to my mom while she was here, and I realized something. Can't be to everybody what my dad was to everybody. No matter how hard I try, none of us can fit in those shoes. I certainly can't. All I can do is do the best that I can do. I know that my mom knows that I love her and that I have her best interest at heart, and that I know that I love my children and my grandchild and the new one that's coming. And I'm at this place in my life where being healthier and happier is what it's really about. It's not about losing weight. It's about being more fit and happy. and healthy. Lowering my blood pressure. It's about lowering my cholesterol. It's about doing what I can so that my joints don't hurt as much, and so that the fibro isn't as bad, so that my ADHD is under better control, so that my anxiety and depression is better, which is why I'm back on medicine for anxiety and depression. I think it's all the way around. It is time for me to quit pigeonholing myself. It's time for me to remember that there are all these possibilities out there. And the reason I fell in love with the Omni Journal to begin with is because that's how my brain works. Because I do need some structure. Like I said, I'll still be using the Hobonichi AVEC for our personal and finance and stuff like that. Home stuff, car stuff, and for some of my personal stuff. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, because I'm going to be doing a hack. So this is a B6-stology, and I've been doing a bit of all kinds of stuff in it, and I feel really good about it. And I probably will end up doing morning pages in this, because I don't want to do morning pages in my regular journal. So I have this B6-stology. I had a few things to choose from, and I have this Taroko Breeze that have not been used. I don't keep a lot of unused journals, because if I keep them, I tend to want to stop doing what I'm doing and then go to the new journal, because I have a thing about brand new journals, which is why I'm repurposing a few things. With Astology, it has 368 pages. This is the B6. This paper is very similar to Tomoe River paper, but it is not Tomoe River paper. I do not, however, like the date stuff at the top. I never use it, but it's so pale. They really can't, like, you really can't tell. Like, this is would be the front of the journal. So what I'm going to do is turn the journal around backwards. People used to do that with the Nanami Paper Cafe, the B6 Slim, because it had the way the boxes were, so that this little bit of date stuff is down at the bottom, which is a lot of times where I write a quote or I put washi tape. Oh yeah, washi tape. So what I'm going to do, I'll leave this page here. I'm going to actually cut out a couple of the pages, taking this that I have, this Snoopy calendar. It's not as nice as the one I had last year. The one I had last year actually had Snoopy on it. And what I'm going to do is take out July's calendar, probably June's calendar as well, so that I have it. I don't know why these ended up on here. And then some of the pages, I am going to actually glue them in, or washi tape them in, and then that way when I get to August, I can put August's page in there. Now what I will be able to do with some of it is take this page on this side and glue it down, and then this page I can actually glue in. And I'm going to be taking this apart. I may or may not end up using these bookmarks with my Astology. I may end up putting them in there, I don't know. But the way that this is set up is that you have this calendar, and then you have this, and then you get to the next, like you have 1, 2, 3, 4 grid pages, and then you have the next month's calendar. And the calendar actually has this little log thing over here. So I'm probably going to be doing, like I set up for June, YouTube and Patreon schedule. It's not correct because I didn't get the YouTube videos that I wanted to put up, or Patreon's videos put up, because I ended up out of town with David. So we're here right now. So I can, if I can, I'll take up the stickers. If not, I'm not going to worry about it. But hopefully I'll be able to follow this. This coming week I have my doctor's appointment. I'll find out. I think I've lost about 10 pounds or so since my last doctor's appointment, which is good. And I feel better. And I feel better since being on the medicine. And then I have my mammogram the next week. And then we have Father's Day. And then that way I will have things ready for One Book July. When I was setting up June, I was looking at this and I was thinking there had to be a way for me to use it without putting it, I couldn't put it in the folio. And I don't mind having it separate. Now, I do have in the very front of this, we have this, and I'm actually probably going to be gluing these pages in here as well. This stuff right here, I'm going to be gluing these in there, and I'll be gluing this in there, and then I'll be taping that and then gluing this, because I definitely don't need September of last year. I may just use this one then, because this is April, so I may just put this one in then. Yeah, I'll just do this one because that covers this part of the year, so I'll just use this one. I can glue these two pages in there, and that saves me from writing things out. I don't mind drawing calendars, but that's I'm done with trying to. I like doing the art for some of the bullet journal stuff, and I will. I did art in this. So here's June's. And I am going to fill that in. I did do, but as you can see, I've got a mixture. There's some art from when I was at the hotel. I've got a mixture of things in here. So this is my sort of sketchbook. It's my art journal. And I'm going to be still using this. This is where I do this kind of stuff. So it's sort of a combination of a sketch journal. I gotta do that part. I have some stuff I want to add from when my mom was here. And then we get to June. And I have some pictures, like my mom was here, and then we left this day, so I have the map and I have some pictures. I need to print out the pictures. This was the morning that we arrived. We drove Sunday night, and we arrived at 4 a.m. Monday, and the clerk lady was really rude. I actually followed her because she came to the room banging on the door at 11 o'clock in the morning, and David had to sleep because he had to work Monday night. So I went walking to the clerk, to the desk, the front desk, in my pajamas, barefoot, and she gave me that judgy look. Yes. And I looked at her, I was like, well, you woke me up. So this is one of the flowers that was out there. I haven't finished all the journaling because I have a picture of the flower that I want to put on here, and then I'm going to do the journaling, and I'm going to add the picture right here. And then we saw some doves and some other birds, and they were gorgeous. This is one of the other things that I saw. And as you can tell, I did quite a bit of journaling. So, and then I need to do yesterday's. And we got stuck in the downpour in Georgia and in South Carolina. And I mean, we're talking flooding. We're talking like 4 inches of rain within an hour. So, I'm still going to be using this. Although I may switch these around. I don't know. Because I keep that pen, which is just... It's the Uniball I Micro, and these are waterproof, and they're great, inexpensive pens that you can write with, plan with, draw with. But that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to stop this now because I'm going to be working on this, and I am going to film it, but I'm going to time lapse it. So I will see y'all again soon with another portion of this video with my actual beginning setup of One Book July. I was in one of the groups that I'm in, and we were talking about ideas for One Book July, and they were talking about creative planning, and that immediately got me to thinking about omni journaling, or like an all-in-one journal, or the thing that I'd read in that book by Hannah Hinchman about the illuminated journal. I love to journal. I love art. I like the combination of art and words. I like using photos and everyday ephemera. And I think it's time for me to go back to some of the basics and to have fun, like I said, and not to pigeonhole myself when it comes to some of this. So I'm really excited. I'm going to do some stuff for June still. I've got to do some catch up, but I think I might not have enough ink in my printer to print all the pictures. So we're going to see. But my son's here this weekend, and I really wanted to go ahead and give you this now so that y'all can see it. And get it ahead of time, and tell me what you're thinking about doing. If you were thinking about doing One Book July, Tell me what you're thinking about doing, how you could challenge yourself, because this is what it is for me. I really want to get back into not pigeonholing myself, not having things so compartmentalized. For my ADHD, I do need a little bit of compartmentalizing, but not so much. But I don't want to compartmentalize myself so much that I have pigeonholed myself either. And that's what I've gotten to a point where that's what I was doing. And I've been trying to get out of that, and I think this would be a really good way to do that. If you're not doing One Book July, just tell me what you're doing now and what you like about it, maybe what you don't like about it. My goal for One Book July, I'm not sure what they're doing this year. They've asked for ideas. For me, I think personally, I know that at some point, I don't know even when, I fell down several rabbit holes completely. I got sucked into trying this or using that, changing this because number one, others were using it and they made it look so easy or so pretty or so fun. Or number two, I felt off, stuck, or unhappy with my own journaling or planning, and that maybe a change would do me good. And number three, I was off, stuck, and or unhappy because I was off, stuck, unhappy personally. The grief, anxiety, depression, stress, you name it. I've been going through it over the past year and a half. So this front page that you see that I'm doing, it's more about like it's kind of sort of like a little tiny bit of a vision board. So in comes this self-actualization, self-improvement, self-help, the anxiety, depression medicine, a bit of soul searching, and a bit of journaling therapy, etc. And then here I am preparing to challenge myself for One Book July. You know, journaling is mostly for me about having fun, documenting my life, thoughts, feelings, activities. The planning is about organizing my life, staying organized, and making sure I don't forget things, you know. And then I think the journaling, adding art and words to my journal pages, well, not only is it fun, and it's documenting my life, like I said, the thoughts, feelings, activities, but it's a way to be able to look back and learn from things about myself, to see what I've learned, to record things I've researched, my ideas, different things like that. And I've back and forth been hesitant about adding the planning to my journaling. But the planning is really a part of my life, and I want to figure out a way to incorporate all of it, from recipes to the planning, the to-do list, to the birthdays and all of that. There are all different kinds of phrases for different things, you know. There's the do it your way, there's the write a better story, there's the write your own story. I think we all have a story to tell. I have that on my wall. And I think this all-in-one, everything, illuminated journal, omni journal kind of thing is a really good way to tell your story. I don't think that I'll be putting like my writing, but I might put an idea for my book. I might put a bit of conversation that I hear somewhere that gives me an idea for my book. I can plan out things like with my daughter having the baby and my mom's going to be coming here. I can get some of that planning. I can put like a post-it note with a running grocery list as we run out of things. Like right now I need to add light bulbs to my grocery list. The other book that I showed that's sort of my art book, that's more personal. This is what I'm making for One Book July is sort of the everything. It's just, you know, it's the day-to-day kind of stuff. The other one, I could just do whatever. I could do prompts if I wanted to, like the doodle wash thing for June. I can do a whole week on 2-page spread. I can do 1 day on a 2-page spread. I can do 1 day on a 1-page spread. It's sort of a sketch journal, I guess, maybe. And then I have my sketchbooks. The Hobonichi, like I said, is going to be my personal thing. So what I want to do for each month, starting in July, which is why I'm setting this up, I want to focus more on getting my stuff together, my goals and stuff, and being more organized. And I want to really knuckle down so that I have videos done ahead of time, so that I am having follow through and things. And I think a good way to do that is to go back and review. I've read Ryder Carroll's bullet journal method quite a few times. But I do like part of his stuff, and then there are other bits that I'm not quite so sure about. So I think for me, what will work best is finding a way to incorporate what works for me from the bullet journal method, and then the other stuff that works for me. And so at the end of each month, I'll be doing a review. I'm going to be writing down my wins and then the improvements to make for each month. And I think for the next month from that previous month. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will be showing you more about what I'm going to be doing for One Book July as more stuff for One Book July comes out. So have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Thanks, y'all. Bye.